On my time in Stoneworks, I have often forgotten how I got my money, how I got my first start of money anyhow. And as such, I have kind of forgotten how hard it is for a new player to get started on the server. What exactly it would take for them to properly get enough funds to start a town or buy decent equipment. And so I decided I'm going to try and figure that out myself. So, I wanted to try that. However, I decided to add a little bit of an extra bonus. I'm going to see how much a new player can make in 1 hour. So, the first thing in the challenge that I decided to do was attempt to go mining. However, I came to encounter a bit of a problem with that. You see, in old Stoneworks, you wouldn't have to go far to go mining. You know, you just kind of find an unclaimed spot of land and you just mine. However, most parts of Abexlis have been either claimed or have so many claims around them that it's not really easy to mine. So, in the first bit of challenge in this, challenge, I had to go and find a spot that wasn't in any claims. And that, sadly, took me a bit. After running around like a modern Bardonia player runs around reminiscent of the past, I eventually found what I was looking for. A cave. Thank God. That was not in a claim. Thank God. However, it was effectively mined out. However, the challenge is to see how much money I can make in 1 hour, not how many resources I can make in total. So, wherever I end up in the end, it determines how much money a typical player can make in under an hour. So, hey, this works for me. After mining for a bit and looking around, eventually I remembered /tools exist. More specifically, Gooby tool, which gives you iron tools and various food, which will definitely speed up the process. So, thanks Gooby. You know, a lot of times when new players join and they ask what's the best way to make money, a lot of people, they say mining. I will agree to that in some regards, however there are some better methods than most. In hindsight, if you want to get a real start in Stoneworks, a real start that doesn't require a lot of effort, nor does it require you grinding for materials. What you do is you buy 3 diamonds after you go mining for a bit. Then you just mine cobblestone. It's a slow method, but it works, and most shops buy cobblestone, so that's probably my recommendation. A lot of this challenge was mining, so a lot of the time that I spent here was, let's just say, very boring. It's not for everybody, but hey, when it works, it works. As the time ticked down, I kept looking at the clock, what I had made, how much money there actually was in my bank. And to be honest, I didn't know exactly what to do. So, as the clock raced, I began to race. So, the grand total I made in 1 hour is $1,000. Huh. Well, a lot of the expenditures was from teleporting to land claims and randomly teleporting as well, and also buying tools. That is the major trap that a lot of players fall into, is just teleporting. It's definitely an issue, but hey. I see you there. I see you wondering if you could do better. So go ahead. Get down to no tools, no nothing, no food, anything, with only $100 in your name, and go do the challenge. See what happens. Hey, you may even have a bit of fun. Who knows?